Hi, I'm Katy Thoma, President and CEO of the Chico Chamber, and today I'm here with Jon Gregory, who is the Senior Vice President and Venture Banking Manager for Five Star Bank. So I asked Jon today to come and share with us about round 2 of PPP, or the Paycheck Protection Program. So it's very exciting. The Congress allotted additional funds that can be distributed or businesses could apply for. And so that's happening this week. It's very exciting for these businesses that are in need of additional capital. Jon's an expert in this area. So Jon, thanks for coming today and sharing with us of what's happening at Five Star Bank and what your plan is.
Yeah, my pleasure, Katy. Thanks for the opportunity. As you relayed, Five Star Bank is very active in the PPP program. We did a super high volume in 2020 and are geared up and with all hands on deck to help those businesses that are in need as we head into 2021 and the new PPP cycle. Some businesses have done well over the past year. Others, for a variety of reasons, have struggled due to various things surrounding the pandemic and other economic issues. And this funding is going to be vital to help them kind of get through this critical period over the next 2, 4, 6 months.
Well, one of the things that when we've spoken to businesses is they're doing okay, and they knew, of course we didn't know what was going to happen, but it seems as we're heading into springtime that this is really important now, because some of these businesses, especially restaurants, are going to have a really hard time making it for the next few months with the stay-at-home order. So you have existing clients, you've probably reached out to them, get ready. So what's the bank doing in preparation for the launch? I mean, do you feel like you're veterans now?
As I mentioned to you, Katy, we were very active, built, I think, a repeatable process back in 2020. And we've started that process to reach out to our existing customers who want to apply for a second round. And as I mentioned, we're on a all hands on deck Zoom meeting a little bit later today, but we intend to be ready to go as soon as tomorrow to accept, our own internal information from customers. Our word most recently from SBA is they're going to start with CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution types of lenders today through Wednesday. And then banks like ours will be able to access and submit applications on behalf of our customers towards the end of this week and into early next year, at least as we understand it right now. So we're putting everything in place to be able to act as quickly as possible on behalf of our customers and prospective new customers.
Well, it's kind of been interesting. The first go around was really pretty chaotic in the beginning. The U.S. Treasury and SBA couldn't get on the same page, so there was some issues there and created a lot of confusion for the bankers. This time it doesn't seem that there's as much confusion, but it does seem that there are still some concern or some issues about who's going to qualify. If you haven't expended all your PPP for round 1, maybe you can't apply for round 2. So are all those details still being worked out?
The fine tuning of that is being worked out, but I'm hoping that the experience that the Treasury and SBA and banks and businesses and community organizations went through in 2020, that a lot of the questions and kind of moving of the goalposts will be by us now. And I'm hoping that over the next week, we come to resolution on any of the outstanding issues so that everybody's working from the same ground rules come the end of this week, and that we don't have a lot of changes going forward. I think a couple of things that are important that I've understood is that I believe nonprofit organizations, for example, are eligible to apply in this upcoming cycle. Need to get confirmation on that. I think a really key for small businesses who received funding in the first cycle that are coming back the second time is they need to have at least, if they haven't gotten their forgiveness yet, they need to use all of their cycle 1 funds before they can access new funding. So that'll be critical. And the other key item is quarter over quarter comparing 2020 to 2019, they have to be able to show that at least one quarter in 2020 had a 25% decline in gross receipts. So that's really the key thing that we're focusing on with our customers is go back with your CPA or your internal finance folks and identify whether there's a quarter in there, where you had that decline in sales, because that'll be a key piece of information that we're going to look at out of the gate from those that come to us for PPP funding.
That's great. And I know that it's really been a big help. Now, for as far as the loan forgiveness goes, what we've been hearing from experts is because the rules keep changing, to hold off on applying for the loan forgiveness until all the kinks are worked out. I know there's been some changes at the IRS on how, I know what the feds did determine that businesses do not have to take the PPP as income, but in the state of California, they do. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think, well, two things. The forgiveness part is a large part of where hopefully some learning in a positive way takes place. For example, there's supposed to be a simplified application for forgiveness for the prior or the existing PPP recipients, but also for those going forward, for those that have $150,000 or less, PPP loan. So those that are in that category that have yet to submit all of their information, we've urged them to hold off until that happens, which should be, that form should be coming in the next week or so. Then we've also heard there's been more favorable treatment in terms of taxes and what's exempt and what's not. How the state of California relates on that, I'm not fully aware of the state of California's provisions on that at this point in time.
And it might not be final yet. Who knows? Yeah. As we know, things keep changing. So your process, so your back office is ready for the onslaught. I know that we've heard from other banks in the region that their teams were working through the night, just powering it out. Do you anticipate that the same type of volume that you had the first time?
Yes, we do. I think, given, again, my understanding is the cycle will be up through March 31, that there's going to be very high demand given the sustained economic, difficulties many businesses have faced. And this funding is going to be really critical to them getting through this period. So what we're advising businesses, whether you come to Five Star Bank or with your existing banker, is find a person within the bank that you can work with, and then stay in regular contact with them so that you don't get lost in, a black hole with all of the information that's going to be coming out in the weeks ahead, as well as the timeframes to get information submitted. We had, I won't say how frequent, but I would say extremely frequent loan committees to get all of our customer applications into us through our system and out the door in a matter of days versus weeks in the last cycle. And our objective and goal is to be able to do that this time around. We want to be out in front to give our, our customers and new customers a chance to make sure that they kind of beat the rush so that they can access those critically needed funds.
Well, it's been really admirable as a former longtime banker to watch my former colleagues just go to the mats for their customers. It's very encouraging. I mean, we know that our country is built on the backbone of small businesses and that commitment. And I really do have to appreciate the feds and give them credit for providing the funds to these small business owners, because really has been the difference between making it or not making it. And changing the rules along the way it was so complex in the beginning, and this loan forgiveness that we hear is going to be a one page at the under 150,000. It's going to be a one page form. I think there's only going to be like 5 questions on it. And that's what we heard. Whether that's going to be the case or not remains.
Yeah. Well, I think, Katy, in Chico, this is particularly important, as you know, heading up the Chamber of Commerce and all the small businesses that are your membership base and in the community overall. We don't, our economy, lives and dies by the health of our small business community. We don't have a lot of large, 1,000, 5,000, 100,000 employee, companies here. So we need programs like PPP and banks and community organizations that can really help navigate this process so that we can come out of it on the other end in 3, 6, 9 months, positioned well to thrive in the, the years ahead.
Exactly. And, and further compounding us for the small business owners, especially downtown, has been the fact that not all the students came back from Chico State.
Right.
And at Butte College, their students are down, their enrolled students has gone down some. So that's had an impact. But I got to tell you, it's been very encouraging that we're hearing from the small businesses, some of the small businesses downtown, that community people have been intentional in shopping local, and that most of them had a really good Christmas season. And even like Upper Crust Bakery has been very appreciative of the community members. Instead of going to Upper Crust once a week, maybe they're going more often. Yay, So I just love the Chico people. Our community is so committed and devoted to their small, but we want them to be here. And that's the horn and the drum we keep beating is we have to support our local businesses. Otherwise they're not going to make it. And I always, when people go, oh, I feel so bad, such and such a business closed. Well, did you shop there? So I think that we've done a pretty good job, but
I think another part that's critical that oftentimes gets maybe not thought about as much for the small business employers is that having a stable workforce that they can count on, rely upon during this period is really, really important. So I think if these funds can help sustain that continuity so that there's not constant, churn, I think that's another really important reason for a program like this, and why it's so important that community banks like Five Star are out at the forefront trying to help folks access the resources to be able to do this right now.
Exactly. And talking with some of the business and restaurant owners, especially that have been around a long time, they didn't want to lay off their key people because in order to have a consistent product and knowing and understanding the culture of their business, that takes a long time to train somebody. So you don't want that churn. And that's why PPP has been so important. So Jon, I really appreciate your time today and appreciate Five Star Bank and your commitment to Chico. I know you've been up in this area. How many years since Five Star?
I came to Chico State in 1984. So yeah, I am indeed a permanent Chicoan now, and just love this community. And and I know we've known each other for a long time as well.
Probably since '84.
We want to see good things happen in this ever evolving, changing, dynamic world that we live in on many fronts. But this is one important, small but very important piece of the puzzle, and our bank's going to be all in to help wherever we can on it.
Well, it's great, and the chamber really appreciates the partnership with Five Star and just the resources that you provide to us and that we in turn can provide on to our members has been very helpful. So we're all in it together, right? And the vaccine is coming, the light's at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train, and we're going to make it. I know we are. And I think that we've learned so much through this, and we're going to save that conversation for another day, because I think that we need to get some key people together and talk about what we learned and how we're going to move forward as small business owners and with our partners, our good banking partners. So Jon, thank you and take care, and eat your Wheaties. I know you've got some busy days ahead.
All right, we will. I'm looking forward to it. All right, thanks, Katie.